So a little bit about each one. That's a picture of the Bertrand effort. It's called White Knight is the carrier plane, and then Spaceship One is the thing that's held in the belly there. And this project is supposedly funded by Paul Allen. So there's quite a lot of capital also, I should make that point, quite a lot of capital that's sort of entering this entrepreneurial space sector as well. The only drawback, I think, of this architecture is that it's not really scalable for something that would get to orbit. This is pretty good for suborbital, but I think the architecture would need to change for an orbital vehicle. And there's John Carmack's effort. He's a little irreverent. This is from his website. His vehicle is a vertical takeoff and landing vehicle. He's made really incredible progress for somebody who has no background in aerospace engineering and is also kind of doing it all himself with him and like 3 buddies. And I think they will make something that works. Actually, if you can check out their website, Armadillo Aerospace, it's pretty interesting stuff. But in order to get to orbit, this would require a substantial improvement in the mass efficiency and the engine efficiency, and probably be a 2-stage vehicle. Jeff Bezos, who I'm sure almost everyone here is aware of, he is a pretty huge fan of space. In fact, his high school valedictorian speech was about the necessity of humanity expanding to other planets. So it's pretty important to him, from what I understand. This is our effort. We're spending quite a bit more than the 3 prior entities that I mentioned. In some cases, probably an order of magnitude more, because what we're doing is really an order of magnitude more difficult. We're building an orbital launch vehicle. It's a 2-stage, very high efficiency engines, very high mass efficiency launch vehicle. And it's targeted to the satellite delivery market. So our approach is really to make this a solid, sound business. And so I've predicated the strategic plan on a known market, something that we know for a fact exists, which is the need to put small to medium-sized satellites into orbit. And so that's what we're going after initially. And then with that as kind of a revenue base, we will move into the human transportation market. So the long-term aims of the company are definitely in human transportation. But I think the smart strategy is to first go for cargo delivery, essentially, satellite delivery. And our eventual upgrade path is to build the successor to Saturn V, build a super heavy lift vehicle that could be used for setting up a moon base or doing a Mars mission. That would be the holy grail objective. On the upper right there, you can see a test firing of our engine. And on the lower right, you can see our first stage tank. This is an engine test of our main engine, which is called Merlin. And that generates about roughly 75,000 pounds of thrust at sea level. This is our upper stage engine. It's about 7,500 pounds of thrust in vacuum. And this is an accelerated version of our launch sequence. Our first launch will be from the SpaceX launch complex at Vandenberg Air Force Base in approximately March of next year, basically early next year. And we will be flying a Navy satellite, Navy communications satellite. So it's notable because often launch vehicle companies are not able to get a paying customer on their first flight, but we've been able to do that. This is also the Falcon development at SpaceX is the fastest launch vehicle development in history, including wartime. So that's actually Vandenberg Air Force Base, which is about 2 hours away from Santa Barbara.